Welcome, beautiful souls. No matter where you are in life, I want you to know that feeling broken is not a permanent state. We all experience moments of pain and despair, but I want to remind you today that even in those moments, there is always hope. Together, let's walk through 6 key ideas to help you rise and heal when you feel broken. When we feel broken, it's tempting to deny our pain or judge ourselves for feeling it. Often we believe that if we ignore the hurt long enough, it will disappear. But the truth is, pushing away emotions only causes them to linger in the background, affecting our thoughts, our relationships, and our overall well-being. The first and perhaps the most important step toward healing is to acknowledge the pain without judgment. Many of us have grown up in environments where emotions were labeled as good or bad. Happiness, excitement, and joy were encouraged, while sadness, anger, and fear were seen as weaknesses, something to be suppressed. We may have learned to associate certain emotions with shame or guilt, believing that feeling hurt makes us weak or unworthy. But emotions are not something to be categorized or judged. They are simply messengers from our inner world, trying to tell us something important about our experience. When you feel broken, it's important to recognize that your pain is valid. Whatever the source of your hurt, whether it's a loss, a betrayal, or a deep disappointment, you are allowed to feel exactly what you are feeling. Too often, we compare our pain to others, telling ourselves that it's not bad enough to warrant attention. We downplay our emotions because we think others have it worse, or because we believe we shouldn't be affected so deeply. But pain is subjective, and each person's experience is unique. What matters is not the severity of the event itself, but how it affects you personally. A key part of acknowledging your pain is letting go of the judgment you place on yourself for feeling it. Often when we are hurting, an inner critic emerges telling us we should be stronger, that we shouldn't let things get to us, or that we should get over it faster. This voice may say things like, "Why are you still upset? It wasn't even that big of a deal," or "You should be over this by now." But healing is not something that can be forced or rushed. It takes time, and it unfolds in its own way. By judging ourselves, we create resistance to our own healing, which only prolongs the process. Instead of criticizing yourself, try to approach your emotions with curiosity and compassion. Ask yourself, what am I feeling right now, without labeling those feelings as good or bad. Simply observe them, allowing them to exist without trying to change or dismiss them. This is an act of self-compassion, recognizing that your emotions are part of your human experience and that it's okay to feel whatever you're feeling. When we stop judging our pain and start allowing it to be, something remarkable happens. The intensity of the emotion often begins to diminish. Pain thrives on resistance. When we fight against our feelings, telling ourselves we shouldn't be hurt or that we should be over it, the emotions only grow stronger, demanding more of our attention. But when we allow ourselves to feel without judgment, we create space for those emotions to move through us. We are no longer blocking them or trying to shove them away. We are simply letting them flow. And in doing so, we give ourselves the gift of release. This process can feel uncomfortable at first. We are used to running away from difficult emotions, distracting ourselves with work, relationships, or entertainment. We might numb our feelings with food, alcohol, or other habits that take us away from the pain. But while these distractions might provide temporary relief, they do not allow us to heal. True healing happens when we stop avoiding our pain and start facing it directly. And we do this not by forcing ourselves to be strong, but by gently allowing ourselves to be vulnerable. Vulnerability is often seen as a weakness, but in reality, it is one of the greatest strengths we possess. To acknowledge your pain without judgment is to show yourself compassion, to honor the fact that you are a human being with emotions that matter. It's not about wallowing in sorrow or letting yourself be consumed by it. Rather, it's about creating a safe space within yourself to feel what needs to be felt. When you allow yourself to be vulnerable in this way, you begin to build a deeper connection with yourself, one based on self-acceptance and love. This process of acknowledging your pain can be done in small, gentle steps. You don't need to dive into the deepest parts of your hurt all at once. Start by simply noticing when you are feeling something difficult, and instead of turning away from it, take a moment to sit with it. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and ask yourself, what am I feeling right now? Let whatever emotions arise come to the surface without judgment. If tears come, let them flow. If anger or frustration bubbles up, acknowledge it. If all you feel is numbness, that's okay too. The key is to allow yourself to feel without rushing to change or fix anything. Remember that this is not a one-time event. Healing is a journey, and acknowledging your pain is a practice you may need to return to again and again. Each time you do, you are giving yourself the space to heal a little more. You are sending yourself the message that your emotions are valid, that your experience matters, and that you are worthy of compassion and care no matter what you are feeling. In the moments when you feel broken, remind yourself that you don't have to fix anything right away. You are not broken beyond repair. You are simply in the process of feeling, of healing, of growing. And the first step on that path is to acknowledge your pain, to let it be what it is, and to meet it with kindness instead of judgment. Through this act of self-compassion, you begin to heal. When we feel broken, it's easy to fall into the trap of believing we are unworthy, whether it's because of past mistakes, painful experiences, or the way others have treated us. The idea that we are not good enough can take root deep inside. This belief of unworthiness can become a heavy weight, keeping us from healing and living fully. But the truth is that no matter what has happened in your life, you are inherently worthy of love, happiness, and fulfillment. Releasing the belief that you are unworthy is a powerful step toward healing and reclaiming your life. The feeling of unworthiness often stems from childhood. As children, we are highly sensitive to the messages we receive from the world around us. If we grew up in an environment where love was conditional, where we were criticized or neglected, we may have internalized the idea that we had to earn love, that we weren't enough just as we were. Even small, seemingly insignificant moments, a harsh word from a parent or a teacher, a moment of rejection from a friend can leave lasting imprints on our sense of self-worth. Over time, these experiences can add up, creating the belief that we are not deserving of love or success unless we are perfect. As adults, this belief may show up in different ways. We might engage in self-sabotaging behaviors, pushing away opportunities or relationships because we don't believe we deserve them. We may stay in toxic situations because we think we're not worthy of anything better. We might constantly seek validation from others, hoping that external approval will somehow fill the void within. But no amount of external validation can replace the inner sense of self-worth that comes from truly believing you are enough, exactly as you are. Releasing the belief that you are unworthy is not something that happens overnight. It's a process of unlearning years, perhaps even decades of conditioning. It starts with recognizing that this belief is just that, a belief. It is not the truth. It is simply a story you have been telling yourself, a story that can be rewritten. The first step in letting go of this belief is to become aware of it. Notice the moments when you tell yourself, I'm not good enough, I don't deserve this, or I'll never be successful. Pay attention to how often these thoughts arise and how they make you feel. Once you become aware of these thoughts, you can begin to question them. Ask yourself, is this really true? Where did this belief come from? Who told me I wasn't enough? You may realize that the belief of unworthiness was never yours to begin with. It may have been planted by someone else, by parents, teachers, society, or even well-meaning friends who didn't understand the impact of their words. By recognizing that this belief is not an inherent truth, but rather something you picked up along the way, you begin to loosen its grip on your life. As you challenge these beliefs, it's important to start replacing them with new, empowering thoughts. Affirmations can be incredibly helpful in this process. Louise Hay often spoke about the power of affirmations to shift our inner dialogue and create positive change in our lives. Start by affirming, I am worthy of love and happiness, I deserve good things in my life, or I am enough just as I am. These words may feel foreign at first, especially if you've spent years believing the opposite. But the more you repeat them, the more they will begin to resonate with you on a deeper level. Affirmations work by slowly rewiring your subconscious mind. Just as the belief of unworthiness was formed through repetition, the belief in your worthiness can be built in the same way. Every time you catch yourself thinking negatively about yourself, consciously choose to replace that thought with a positive affirmation. Over time, these new thoughts will become your default way of thinking. It's also helpful to surround yourself with people, environments, and experiences that reinforce your sense of worth. Spend time with those who uplift you, who see your value, and who remind you of your inherent goodness. Avoid situations or relationships that make you feel small or unworthy. While it's important to work on your inner beliefs, it's equally important to create an outer environment that supports your growth and healing. As you release the belief in unworthiness, you may notice a profound shift in how you approach life. When you no longer believe that you have to earn love or prove your value, you give yourself permission to pursue the things that truly bring you joy. You stop settling for less than you deserve, and you start attracting people and experiences that align with your new sense of self-worth. The energy you put out into the world changes, and in turn, the world responds to you in a more positive, loving way. It's important to acknowledge that this process may bring up resistance. The belief that you are unworthy has been a part of your identity for a long time, and letting go of it can feel uncomfortable. You may find yourself slipping back into old patterns of thinking, doubting your worth when things don't go as planned. Be gentle with yourself during these moments. Remember that healing is not linear, and it's okay to take a step back before moving forward again. One of the most powerful tools for releasing the belief of unworthiness is self-compassion. Practice speaking to yourself with the same kindness and understanding that you would offer a dear friend. When you make a mistake, instead of berating yourself, remind yourself that you are human and that making mistakes is part of the journey. When you feel down, instead of sinking into self-pity, give yourself the love and care that you need. Self-compassion is the antidote to unworthiness because it reminds you that no matter what, you are deserving of love and kindness simply because you exist. Ultimately, releasing the belief that you are unworthy is about coming home to yourself. It's about recognizing that your worth is not tied to your achievements, your appearance, or what others think of you. It is intrinsic. You are worthy simply because you are here, because you are a unique expression of life itself. As you let go of the belief that you need to prove your worth, you begin to live more authentically, more freely, and more joyfully. You open yourself up to receiving all the love, success, and abundance that life has to offer. In the end, the belief in your worthiness is not just a thought, it's a way of being. It's a deep inner knowing that no matter what happens in your life, you are enough. You always have been, and you always will be. Forgiveness is often seen as something we do for others, a way of releasing the resentment we hold toward those who have wronged us. However, what we often overlook is that forgiveness is just as much, if not more, about healing ourselves. It is not an act of condoning hurtful behavior, nor is it a sign of weakness. Instead, it's a conscious decision to let go of the emotional burdens we carry. Whether it's forgiving ourselves for past mistakes or forgiving others for causing us pain, forgiveness is a vital part of the healing process when we feel broken. Forgiving yourself is often the hardest part. We tend to be our own worst critics, replaying the mistakes we've made or the opportunities we've missed over and over in our minds. Perhaps you made a decision you regret, hurt someone you loved, or failed to live up to your own expectations. Whatever the case may be, the guilt and shame that follow can be crippling. These emotions, if left unchecked, can become deeply ingrained beliefs about who we are, that we are unworthy, undeserving, or flawed in some fundamental way. But the truth is, no one is perfect. We all make mistakes, and those mistakes are not a reflection of our worth, but rather a part of our human experience. The first step in forgiving yourself is to acknowledge what you are holding on to. What mistakes or regrets have you been carrying? What situations continue to weigh on your heart? Once you've identified these, the next step is to offer yourself compassion. Imagine speaking to yourself the way you would speak to a close friend who was struggling with guilt or regret. Would you condemn them for their mistakes, or would you offer understanding and empathy? You deserve the same kindness. It's okay to acknowledge that you did the best you could with the information and resources you had at the time. Every choice, whether it worked out as you hoped or not, was an opportunity for growth and learning. It's also important to recognize that self-forgiveness is not about forgetting what happened or pretending it didn't hurt. It's about releasing the hold that guilt and shame have over you. It's about accepting that you are a work in progress and that your past does not define your future. When we continue to punish ourselves for past mistakes, we keep ourselves stuck in a cycle of suffering, unable to move forward. Self-forgiveness allows us to break free from that cycle, to learn from our experiences, and to approach life with more self-compassion and understanding. Forgiving others, while different in some ways, follows a similar emotional path. When someone hurts us, it's natural to feel angry, betrayed, or resentful. These emotions are valid, and it's important to allow yourself to feel them without rushing into forgiveness prematurely. Too often, people believe that they have to forgive immediately in order to be spiritual or strong, but forgiveness cannot be forced. It is a process that happens in its own time, and it begins with acknowledging the pain. Holding on to anger or resentment can feel like a way to protect ourselves from being hurt again, but over time these emotions become a heavy burden. The person who wronged you may have long since moved on, but by holding on to the anger, you remain tethered to that pain. Forgiveness is about freeing yourself from the emotional grip that person or situation has over you. It's about reclaiming your power, not for their sake, but for your own. When we hold on to grudges, we often think we are punishing the person who hurt us. We replay the events in our minds, imagining what we could have said or done differently, or we dwell on the unfairness of the situation. But in reality, the only person suffering is us. The emotional energy we invest in holding on to resentment could be used for healing, growth, and creating a better future for ourselves. Forgiveness, then, is not about letting the other person off the hook. It's about releasing the toxic emotions that are keeping us tied to the past. One powerful way to begin the process of forgiving others is to try to understand their perspective, not to justify their actions, but to see the situation from a place of empathy. What might they have been going through at the time? What fears, insecurities, or pain might have driven their behavior? This doesn't mean you condone what they did, but it allows you to see that their actions were a reflection of their own struggles, not a reflection of your worth. By shifting your perspective in this way, you begin to release the emotional charge that the situation holds over you. It's also important to remember that forgiveness is a personal process. You do not need to confront the person who hurt you, nor do you need their apology to begin healing. Forgiveness is an internal process that happens within you, independent of what the other person says or does. Sometimes the person who hurt you may never acknowledge the harm they caused, and that's okay. You can still choose to forgive, not because they deserve it, but because you deserve peace. One of the greatest misconceptions about forgiveness is that it means forgetting. People often resist forgiveness because they fear it means they have to allow the person back into their lives or expose themselves to being hurt again. But forgiveness doesn't mean you have to reconcile with the person or continue a relationship that is unhealthy. In fact, in many cases, it's wise to set boundaries to protect yourself from further harm. Forgiveness is about letting go of the emotional baggage, not about erasing the past or pretending it didn't happen. As you practice forgiving yourself and others, you may notice a sense of lightness beginning to emerge within you. The emotional weight that you've been carrying starts to lift, and in its place, there is room for new energy, new opportunities, and new connections. Forgiveness opens the door to healing because it allows you to release the past and make space for the future. Remember, forgiveness is not a one-time event, it's a practice. You may need to forgive yourself or someone else over and over again as new layers of emotion come to the surface. And that's okay. Be gentle with yourself in this process. Healing takes time, and forgiveness is an ongoing journey. Each step you take brings you closer to peace, to freedom, and to a deeper sense of wholeness. In the end, forgiveness is one of the most powerful gifts you can give yourself. It's an act of self-love, a declaration that you deserve to live free from the pain of the past. By forgiving yourself and others, you reclaim your power, and in doing so, you open your heart to the possibility of healing, growth, and a future filled with love and peace. When you feel broken, it's easy to get caught in a negative cycle of self-talk, reinforcing feelings of inadequacy, fear, or sadness. The stories we tell ourselves about who we are and what we are capable of can either uplift or break us down. If you've experienced hardship or trauma, your inner world, the space where your thoughts, beliefs, and emotions live, may have been damaged, making it difficult to see your own strength and worth. One of the most powerful tools for rebuilding this inner world is the practice of using positive affirmations. Affirmations are simple, yet profoundly impactful statements that help reprogram your subconscious mind. They allow you to replace the negative, limiting beliefs you may have absorbed over time with more empowering, life-affirming thoughts. When you repeat these positive statements consistently, they begin to reshape your inner dialogue, helping you cultivate a sense of peace, strength, and confidence no matter what challenges you may face. The beauty of affirmations is that they focus on the present moment. They work on the principle that what you believe and declare right now creates your future. For example, if you constantly tell yourself, "I'm not good enough," or "I'll never succeed," those thoughts become your reality because they shape your actions, choices, and energy. However, when you replace those thoughts with affirmations like "I am worthy of love and success," or "I am strong and capable," you begin to see yourself in a new light, and your actions follow suit. Affirmations can feel uncomfortable at first, especially if they contradict long-held beliefs or if you're in the midst of emotional pain. If you're struggling with feelings of self-doubt, it might feel strange to say, "I am confident," or "I trust myself." But this discomfort is actually a sign that the affirmations are starting to challenge the negative patterns you've been holding on to. You are beginning to break through the barriers that have kept you stuck in a place of hurt or fear. Over time, as you continue to use affirmations, they will become more natural and believable, and you'll notice a shift in how you think and feel about yourself. One key aspect of using affirmations is that they need to be specific, positive, and in the present tense. Your subconscious mind responds best to direct, clear language. Instead of saying, "I want to be happy," or "I will be strong someday," affirmations should state, "I am happy," or "I am strong and resilient." Even if you don't fully believe the words at first, by stating them as though they are already true, you begin to embody the energy of that truth. This helps your subconscious mind align with your desired state of being, making it easier for you to create positive change in your life. A powerful example of affirmations is the way Louise Hay often taught people to speak to themselves in the mirror. She would encourage individuals to look into their own eyes and say, "I love and approve of myself." For many, this was a deeply emotional and transformative practice, as it brought up all the resistance and self-criticism they'd been carrying for years. However, with continued practice, this simple act of speaking loving words to oneself became a gateway to healing and self-acceptance. To begin using affirmations effectively, start by identifying the areas of your life where you feel most broken or stuck. Are you struggling with self-worth? Do you feel overwhelmed by fear or anxiety? Are you healing from a loss or betrayal? Once you've identified the core issue, choose affirmations that directly counter the negative beliefs or emotions you've been holding on to. For example, if you feel unworthy of love, an affirmation like "I am deserving of love and affection" can help reframe your thinking. If you're feeling powerless, try "I am in control of my life and my choices." It's important to repeat your affirmations consistently, several times a day, for them to have a lasting impact. You might say them aloud in the morning, write them down in a journal, or repeat them silently throughout the day. Some people find it helpful to post their affirmations on sticky notes around their home or office, placing them on mirrors, doors, or other places they will see regularly. The more you engage with these positive statements, the more they will begin to penetrate your subconscious mind, replacing old negative thoughts with new empowering ones. Incorporating emotions into your affirmations also amplifies their effectiveness. As you repeat each statement, try to feel the emotion behind the words. If you're saying, "I am confident," imagine how confidence feels in your body, how you would stand, speak, and move if you truly embodied that feeling. The more you can connect emotionally to your affirmations, the faster they will begin to manifest in your life. Your subconscious mind responds strongly to emotions, and by pairing your affirmations with positive emotional states, you enhance their power to create change. It's also important to be patient with yourself during this process. Rebuilding your inner world with affirmations is not an overnight transformation. You may find that negative thoughts still creep in from time to time, or that you have moments of doubt or resistance. That's completely normal. Remember, the negative beliefs you're working to change didn't form overnight, and it will take time and persistence to fully shift them. Be gentle with yourself and trust that with each repetition, you're planting seeds of change in your subconscious mind. Over time, those seeds will grow, and you will start to see the fruits of your new mindset in the form of increased self-love, confidence, and peace. Another important aspect of using affirmations is to pair them with action. While affirmations are powerful, they work best when supported by behaviors that align with your new beliefs. If your affirmation is, "I am worthy of respect," take steps to set healthy boundaries in your relationships. If your affirmation is, "I am healthy and strong," make choices that support your physical well-being, such as eating nourishing foods and staying active. By combining affirmations with actions that reinforce your new mindset, you strengthen their impact and create lasting change in your life. As you continue to practice using positive affirmations, you will begin to notice a shift, not only in your thoughts, but in your overall energy and outlook on life. Your inner world, which once felt broken or damaged, will start to rebuild itself on a foundation of self-love, strength, and resilience. You'll find that you approach challenges with greater confidence, that you're more open to receiving love and joy, and that your relationships with others, as well as with yourself, begin to improve. In the end, affirmations are not just about changing individual thoughts, they are about transforming the way you see yourself in the world. By choosing to speak words of kindness, love, and empowerment into your own life, you are taking an active role in your healing journey. You are declaring that you are not defined by your past, your pain, or your mistakes. Instead, you are choosing to create a new narrative, one of worthiness, strength, and infinite possibility. Trusting the process of life can be one of the most challenging yet liberating practices in personal growth. When we feel broken, confused, or overwhelmed, it's natural to question the events that unfold around us and within us. We may find ourselves asking, "Why is this happening to me?" or "How will I ever get through this life?" In those moments can feel unpredictable, and that lack of control can feed into our fears and anxieties. However, trusting the process of life means understanding that even when we can't see the whole picture, everything is unfolding as it should. At its core, trusting the process of life is about surrendering the need to control every aspect of your journey and accepting that there is a natural flow to the events and experiences that shape your life. This doesn't mean sitting back passively and waiting for things to happen, nor does it mean pretending everything is perfect when it's not. Instead, it's about cultivating a deep faith that life is always working for your highest good, even in the face of uncertainty, setbacks, or pain. One of the first steps toward trusting the process is acknowledging that life is full of cycles. Just like the changing seasons, life moves through periods of growth, rest, challenges, and breakthroughs. There are moments when everything seems to be falling into place, and there are times when nothing seems to make sense. In those more difficult moments, it can feel like life is working against us, but it's important to remember that challenges are part of the natural rhythm. Without them, we wouldn't grow, learn, or develop resilience. When we face hardships, it's tempting to resist, to try to force solutions or outcomes that align with our expectations. We often cling to what we think should happen or how things ought to be, but this can create more stress and frustration. Trusting the process of life invites us to release that resistance and allow things to unfold in their own time. It means acknowledging that sometimes life knows better than we do. What seems like a detour or a delay may actually be a necessary part of our path, leading us to something far greater than we could have imagined. Trusting life also involves embracing uncertainty. One of the reasons we struggle with trust is because we fear the unknown. We want guarantees, clear answers, and certainty about what the future holds. But life rarely offers us that. Instead, it presents us with opportunities to grow through the unknown, to build inner strength and patience. When we learn to lean into uncertainty with trust, we open ourselves to the possibility that the unknown isn't something to fear, but something to embrace. It is in the space of uncertainty that some of life's greatest miracles and breakthroughs occur. Another key element of trusting the process of life is letting go of the belief that you need to have all the answers right now. We often feel pressure to figure everything out, to know exactly what to do next, or to have a clear plan for the future. But the truth is, life doesn't always work on our timeline. Sometimes clarity comes only after we've taken a step into the unknown, after we've allowed ourselves to sit with the discomfort of not knowing. By letting go of the need for immediate answers, we create space for life to reveal itself to us in its own time and in its own way. A beautiful example of this can be found in nature. Think of a seed planted in the soil. For a long time, nothing appears to be happening on the surface. The seed is underground, hidden from view, and we might assume that nothing is growing. But beneath the surface, the seed is germinating, developing roots, and preparing to sprout. Eventually, when the conditions are right, the seed breaks through the soil and begins to grow. Trusting the process of life is much like this. There are times when it feels like nothing is happening, but underneath it all, life is working in ways we can't always see. Sometimes we need to wait for the right conditions emotionally, spiritually, or physically before we can see the fruits of our labor. In moments of doubt or struggle, it can be helpful to remind yourself of times when things worked out in the past, even when you didn't know how they would. Reflect on moments when life seemed uncertain, and yet in the end, everything came together. Often we can look back on challenges and see that they played a crucial role in our growth or led us to unexpected opportunities. These reflections can help build your faith that life is always guiding you, even when the path is unclear. Another aspect of trusting the process is developing patience. We live in a world that encourages instant gratification. We are accustomed to fast results and quick fixes, but personal growth and healing don't follow that timeline. Trusting the process requires patience and the understanding that meaningful change takes time. Whether you're working through a difficult period in your life, healing from emotional wounds, or striving toward a goal, trust that things are unfolding at the right pace. Rushing the process can lead to frustration and missed lessons. By practicing patience, you allow yourself the time and space to grow in alignment with life's natural rhythm. Trusting life doesn't mean that everything will always be easy or that you won't face setbacks. What it does mean is that you trust yourself to navigate whatever comes your way. You trust that you have the inner strength, wisdom, and resilience to handle life's ups and downs. You trust that even in the most challenging times, there is a purpose or lesson that will ultimately serve your growth. This kind of trust fosters a sense of peace because it allows you to release the constant need to control or predict outcomes. It helps you relax into the flow of life, knowing that you are supported and guided at every step. Gratitude is a powerful tool that can help you cultivate trust in the process of life. When we focus on what is going wrong or what we lack, we reinforce feelings of fear, doubt, and scarcity. But when we shift our focus to what is going well, to the blessings in our lives, no matter how small, we begin to see evidence that life is indeed supporting us. By practicing gratitude, you train your mind to notice the positive, which strengthens your trust in the goodness of life. In essence, trusting the process of life is about embracing the journey, not just the destination. It's about accepting that life's twists and turns, its highs and lows, are all part of a greater picture that is unfolding for your highest good. Even when you can't see the full path ahead, trust that each step you take is guiding you to where you need to be. Life is not something happening to you, it's something happening for you, always offering opportunities for growth, healing, and transformation. Ultimately, trusting the process of life is an act of faith, faith in yourself, faith in the universe, and faith in the universe, and faith in the unseen forces that are always working in your favor. When you cultivate this trust, you begin to live with a sense of peace and openness, knowing that you don't have to have all the answers or control every outcome. You simply need to trust, and in doing so, you allow life to unfold in ways that are even more beautiful than you could have imagined. When you feel broken, vulnerable, or overwhelmed by life's challenges, it can be easy to retreat inward, to isolate yourself from the world and try to shoulder your pain alone. In these moments, the instinct to withdraw often comes from a desire to protect yourself. You may think that you can figure things out on your own, or that you don't want to burden others with your struggles. However, one of the most powerful steps you can take on your healing journey is to surround yourself with love and support. When you allow yourself to be held by the care and compassion of others, you open the door to greater healing, connection, and inner strength. We are not meant to go through life alone. Human beings are social creatures wired for connection and belonging. While personal strength and resilience are vital, there is also tremendous strength to be found in allowing yourself to receive support from others. No matter how independent or self-reliant you may be, there will be times in life when you need the comfort, encouragement, and understanding that only others can provide. Surrounding yourself with love and support doesn't mean you are weak, it means you are wise enough to recognize that we all need each other. When you feel broken, reaching out for support can feel difficult. You might fear being judged or misunderstood, or you might believe that no one can truly understand what you're going through. These fears, while understandable, are often the very things that keep us stuck in our pain. Isolation can deepen feelings of loneliness and make our burdens feel heavier. But when we open up to others, when we allow ourselves to be vulnerable, we create space for healing. Sharing your struggles with those who care about you can bring relief, insight, and a sense of connection that reminds you that you are not alone. It's important to be mindful of who you choose to surround yourself with during difficult times. Not everyone in your life may have the emotional capacity or understanding to offer the kind of support you need. This is why it's essential to seek out people who are compassionate, non-judgmental, and genuinely invested in your well-being. These are the people who will listen without trying to fix you, who will offer encouragement without dismissing your pain, and who will hold space for you as you navigate your healing journey. They could be close friends, family members, a therapist, or even a support group. What matters most is that they offer you a safe, loving presence. One of the most powerful aspects of surrounding yourself with love and support is that it helps you see yourself through the eyes of others. When we are hurting, it's easy to fall into patterns of negative self-talk and self-judgment. We may tell ourselves that we are unworthy, that we are too broken to be loved, or that we are a burden to those around us. However, when we allow ourselves to be in the presence of people who love and care for us, we begin to see a different reflection of ourselves. These people remind us of our worth, of our inherent goodness, and of the strength we possess, even when we can't see it ourselves. The simple act of being seen and heard by someone who truly cares can be deeply healing. There is something profoundly comforting about knowing that someone is willing to sit with you in your pain without trying to change or minimize it. In those moments of connection, you may find that your pain feels a little lighter, that your heart feels a little more open, and that you feel a little more hopeful. Love and support from others can act as a mirror, reflecting back to you the truth that you are not alone, and that you are worthy of care no matter what you're going through. It's also important to remember that love and support come in many forms. While human connection is essential, there are other sources of support that can offer comfort and healing. For some, connecting with nature can be a powerful way to feel supported. The beauty, stillness, and vastness of nature can remind us that we are part of something greater, that the world is full of cycles of growth, rest, and renewal, and that we too are capable of healing and transformation. Walking in a forest, sitting by the ocean, or simply being outdoors can provide a sense of peace and grounding that helps us reconnect with ourselves and with life. Spiritual support can also be a vital source of comfort during difficult times. Whether through prayer, meditation, or a sense of connection to something greater than ourselves, spirituality can provide a deep well of strength and guidance. For many, faith in a higher power or a belief in the interconnectedness of all things brings a sense of purpose and meaning, even in the midst of pain. Trusting that there is a greater plan at work, that the universe is holding and guiding you, can offer solace and help you surrender some of the fear and uncertainty you may be carrying. In addition to human connection, nature, and spirituality, self-love is an essential form of support that you can offer yourself. Surrounding yourself with love doesn't just mean seeking it from external sources, it also means nurturing it within. One of the most powerful acts of self-love is giving yourself permission to feel whatever you are feeling without judgment. Whether you are experiencing sadness, anger, fear, or confusion, allow yourself to be with those emotions without trying to push them away. Offer yourself the same compassion and kindness that you would offer to a dear friend who is struggling. Remind yourself that it's okay to be vulnerable, that healing is a process, and that you are worthy of love exactly as you are. Self-care is another important way to surround yourself with love. Taking time to care for your physical, emotional, and mental well-being can help restore balance and provide the energy you need to continue your healing journey. This might include activities like eating nourishing food, getting enough rest, engaging in movement that feels good to your body, or simply taking time to do things that bring you joy. When you care for yourself in these ways, you send a powerful message to yourself that you are deserving of love and care, no matter what. Ultimately, surrounding yourself with love and support is about allowing yourself to receive the care and compassion that is available to you, both from others and from within. It's about recognizing that you don't have to go through life's challenges alone, and that there is immense strength in vulnerability. By opening yourself up to the love and support that surrounds you, you create a foundation for healing, growth, and transformation. You remind yourself that even in moments of brokenness, you are held by the love of others, the love of the universe, and the love within yourself.